Welcome to Beyond Her Story. Our today's guest is someone who we all can look up to because she is a visionary who's built, diversified, and managed businesses in last 30 years, earned prestigious award, and also has done a lot of social initiatives in her journey. This is Josna Pai. She is the managing director of Pai Bakery and Hotel Pai Foods. It's in Belgaum, and she has a lot of secrets on how she manages it all. And let's find out today. Welcome, Josna ma'am, to Beyond Her Story. It's really a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Sneha.
So we'll start from the beginning.
Yeah.
I got to know that you've done your engineering, and then in 1994 you got married, and from the very next day you started your entrepreneurial journey.
Yes, yes.
So what were your thoughts then, like coming from a technical background, getting into entrepreneurship?
See, for me, entrepreneurship was, you could say, an accident, or it was an occasion which walked by itself into my life. Because we are Brahmins, we have this matchmaking and such things. That took me to Belgaum. I had never seen where Belgaum was in Karnataka map because I was raised in Bangalore.
Okay.
So marriage took me there, and they were a family of hoteliers, and my father-in-law was keen that I should not be working outside, but he was okay with us doing something in the family. So that at that juncture, my husband and my father-in-law had taken a sick unit,
Okay.
and with its loan.
Okay.
So it was very convenient for me to assist my husband.
Okay.
So I entered assisting him, and after a few years, landed up being the sole managing director, because we started another unit, and my husband's focus went that way.
Okay.
So I feel very happy to say that in 94 we had a 3000 square feet building with around 10-12 people, and today 31 years later we have 22,000 square feet building of bakery and several other businesses.
Yeah.
And we have a family of staff of around 120 plus.
Wow.
Yeah. So it feels very gratifying and satisfactory.
Yeah. That's really nice, Josna ma'am. And it's also that you have 75% of your employees are women, right?
Yeah.
So how did that happen? Was there some intention behind this?
There are 2-3 factors. It was not very intentional. There are different occasions which made me go in this direction.
Okay.
First was around 15-20 years back. It was entirely men who were there at our factory. It was the staff was entirely male dominated. And I had very few, maybe 2 or 3 women who were at very small jobs like cleaning and other smaller jobs. So what happened, we were not getting enough people walking in asking for jobs, for skilled or unskilled. So I was highly dependent on them. It so happened that one morning, one of our competitors, took away everyone, and I came up one morning to see that there were no main men. I thought this business of mine is going to end today. I was in a shock because I have 40 products which go to hospitals, mess, colleges, which are highly dependent on me. I cannot miss. I have survived my business all these days because I am very prompt with our service and our quality and hygiene. So I was just scared. There was nothing else I could do. I called all the girls, the ladies who had the helpers, and I told them, I will teach you. I'll give you a raise in your salary, and I will mentor you. But you all are, if you all are ready to take important tasks, 2 or 3 in that came ahead.
Okay.
They were single mothers and they're unwed girls. So they came and said, we are okay with that. So I trained them, and believe me, they are with me for last 20 years. Today, when the business has grown, they are in certain positions where they make mixing of tons of flour per day and flawless. That is, if they make small mistakes, our entire batch gets spoiled. So they are so focused on their work and they're so committed. Once I saw this happening, it opened a new door for me. My dependency on male decreased. I started hiring more women. I started seeing, observing what their strengths are, and put them on those kind of jobs or
Yeah.
portfolios. So that helped me make a team. So it is not intentional. And one more thing is, I'm a very empathetical, sympathetical kind of a character. If I find somebody who walks in, she says, I'm a widow or a single mother, I can't support a family. So I immediately try to make place for her.
Yeah.
So this, because I know there is a family dependent on her. So if I support her, I support her family. So that particular character of mine has also been very predominant in going in this direction.
Okay.
And somehow I had read somewhere that women at the helm, they hire more women. So they have that comfort
that
level
is
getting work done.
Yeah.
So generally there is an observation that whenever a department has a head who's a woman, she slowly hires more women. So maybe these are 2-3 reasons which made me, I can't say which made me take the decision. The circumstances
Yeah.
made it.
But I think later on it became intentional
Yeah,
after you saw
it became-
how it works.
Yes,
and, yeah.
yes. See, men are very famous for taking lot of offs.
Yeah.
Women think a lot before taking holidays because that money supports their family.
Yeah.
So that was one of the main reasons. Our products cannot be stopped a single day. We are in that essential food products which have to be made every day and given very much on time. So they are more sensitive to such things.
Correct. Yeah.
And they won't change jobs also easily if they are kept comfortably here.
Yeah.
So that again is a very important
Correct.
factor for me.
Commitment also, I think, is
Yeah,
more
their
comparatively.
commitment is more. So these factors help me.
Okay. Jyotsna ma'am, you also mentioned that you've now moved into a 22,000 square feet state-of-the-art facility with
Yeah.
machinery and equipments. So how has that journey been for you?
It was not easy. For a long time, I was in a smaller business, smaller building, and each time I had an opportunity to grow, I saw that the building was not, good enough for having another floor or any other development. Because as I told you previously, we had purchased it from somebody else, so their construction was not good.
Okay.
So, but I had this huge fear of taking a big loan and, breaking down this building, because I by then was used to, taking smaller loans and paying interest, finishing them off very fast. I used to joke with my friends. I used to say, I'm a Baddi Bangarama, so I know to pay interest on time and take new loans and all that I knew. But that huge leap was something which was scary. Second thing is, I could not afford to stop my business even for a week. Because all my customers are highly dependent on me. As I told, KLE, a very big hospital, many other hospitals, and the main kitchen, the staff, everyone is dependent on my product. And my competitors are waiting for me to stop for even a week, and then my business is gone. So I knew if I stop for a few months and then start again, I'll have a wonderful building, but I won't have any business.
Correct.
So I was just contemplating how to go about it. And then my husband and the engineer I met gave a good idea. They said, first we'll break half the building. We'll maintain half the building.
Okay.
In the rest of the area, we'll put temporary sheds. We'll have all this shifted here. So from foundation, because it was black soil, we had to go in for pile foundations of 22 feet each.
Wow.
Around 36 piles. And then we raised ground 1 and 2, and then we shifted everything there, and we broke this down, and then we gelled both the buildings. But I feel so proud to say, even the shifting of machines we did 24 hours on a Saturday night to Monday morning. And Monday morning we started production again.
Wow.
We didn't stop a single product a single day.
Super.
So I overcame that fear of mine.
Yeah.
The planning helped.
Yeah.
So that was the challenge. Second challenge was finance. This was around 7-8 years back. So we have certain documentation of our papers in industrial area, and some that industrial areas problems with their bank was not, they were not able to meet the bank's requirements.
Okay.
So initially banks promised me great things, and I broke the building down. With my finances I started, and they even gave me a sanction letter, and after that they came up with this question mark on certain documentation. And believe me, I was in such bad position when half a building broken down and banks not giving me loans. I went through a very bad patch, did a lot of study, and then some other bank supported me. So when your conviction is very strong and your willpower and your feelings to do big are there, I think even the cosmos supports you.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
everything started falling in place. I got all the loans. I got all the entire building done in the right time that I needed, in spite of all the hurdles.
Yeah.
So it did happen well. As I told you, the bank and this running the existing building and doing this,
Yeah.
there were a lot of challenges. But I'm very happy when I look back now. It all went well.
Yeah. But I think there are a lot of lessons you would have had. I mean, not just this incident, but in your last 31 years of managing and managing these businesses. So if we want to share something with the women who are, who are making it every day and then trying to build something big,
Yeah.
what would be those maybe 3 or 4 tips that you can share with them that will
I
help?
always believe that there is no substitute for hard work.
Yeah.
So I'm one person who's been putting at least minimum 10 to 12 hours of work.
Even now?
Even now,
Okay.
even after 31 years. So I feel that is very much necessary. I've heard of smart work, and I don't know how much it deals, but I can vouch for
Hard work.
hard work.
Yeah.
It has worked for me. And being in your work area, many a times your business grows a little, we start neglecting our workplace, we try to do things through someone else. I don't know if it has not worked for me. I strongly feel when opportunities come, when new customers come, if you are around the workplace,
Yeah.
so you can grab them better than others. So
Absolutely.
that particular feeling pushes me to my workplace. Second one is you can say resilience, like you should be able to hold on through tough times. I have gone through several tough times where I felt I have to give up and run away from this, but something else said, we'll stop, we'll fight this out. In another few months it may be different, and that has helped.
Okay.
My feeling to hold on to whatever I'm
Not
doing,
give up and
not give up.
Yeah.
So we have to develop that resilience. And third thing is you should always have a goal, a short-term goal, long-term goal.
Yeah.
This is something which you might have read everywhere and heard everywhere, but you have to follow it up. I always felt that I should have 30% increase in my annual turnover. So I used to write in my own book how much it should be. So slowly you start thinking on how to develop your
Correct, yeah.
business and take small loans. Whenever you go to banks for development or expansion, they'll show you, they want to go get into bigger loans,
yeah.
they'll tempt you to take bigger loans, and then you are not able to pay the EMI, and then you are stuck. You want to give up. Instead, if you want 15 lakhs, try and make it some 12 lakh loan. Try to generate a small amount somewhere else so that you're not at a mercy.
Yeah.
Plan your finances.
Yeah.
So I have been doing it for the last 25 years. I've taken small loans and paid them well in advance. Many bankers have called me as a good customer, to talk on their
okay.
on their annual day or whatever,
Nice.
because I have maintained that.
Yeah.
So some principles like these, I feel help me. And networking helps like anything.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
initially was totally focusing on my bakery home because I had small children. Later on, I started attending exhibitions, participating in exhibitions, and then attending seminars. As I told you, this Goldman Sachs thing, that gave me a new outlook.
Yeah.
I attended their executive MBA for entrepreneur schools. So all these things, they increase your outlook.
Yeah.
And they also give you confidence to venture into something unknown or fearful to us.
Correct, yeah. I think these are really very nice tips, Jyotsna ma'am, because especially hard work, of course, we all know, like you said, that there's no substitute for hard work. But somewhere along the line, like you said, we take things for granted and maybe slow down a bit.
And there is one more thing, even for women who are employed and for entrepreneur ladies, we have a fear of balancing home and workplace.
That's the thing, yeah.
I have gone through that, and each time at my workplace, I feel I'm neglecting my children. When I go home, I feel there is some pilferage happening, there's something wrong happening at my workplace, and that was a huge problem.
Correct.
But believe me, that makes many women postpone their entrepreneurial journey. They say, "Nam makkalu doddavaraagli, aamele navu enadru martivi." Don't do that. When children grow, your confidence level has dipped.
Yeah.
You cannot venture into anything.
Correct.
And I'm a good example that you can manage both. So whenever I used to spend more time in my workplace, I had a relative who used to, some kind of taunt me in public. She used to say that her children will get neglected and then they will not be able to do anything in life. So as soon as I come home from my workplace, I used to take both my children and I never made them do homework. I made them do other general things, music, chess and everything. One indoor sport, one outdoor sport. And I'll tell you, the happiest moment in my life was when both my sons got 99% in PUC.
Wow.
Their pictures were there on papers. They had given state level chess competitions. They gave Hindustani classical exams and did well
Wow.
there. And there was overall development. So today I can tell all that because
Yeah.
that took away little of my me time.
Correct.
So my me time, I focused on that. I didn't join any clubs, groups then.
Yeah.
But that was an investment,
Yeah.
which I'm very proud. I can tell that all today.
Yeah.
So this is for those women who don't want to enter entrepreneurship because you are not able to manage home and workplace. Do it very much when children are small, because children will see that at home you are training your child to become an
Correct. Entrepreneur. Yeah.
So that has lot of win-win situations in that.
Yeah. Jyotsna ma'am, you've also diversified your business. You've gone into catering, then you've started a website for matrimonial matchmaking. So, how did that thought process come to you, or when did you think of diversifying it?
See, matchmaking happened because I wanted to convert my passion into something to give back to society. It was not a business venture.
Okay.
Again, this happened when both my sons went to bigger cities, to Bangalore, to do their further studies, and I started missing them. I felt I'm slipping into depression because evenings was all for children, and both of them were out of sight. And at that time, I felt I have to do something which gives me happiness. I was not finding happiness because they were not around.
Yeah.
And at that time, I said, I love connecting people. So I said, this is something I can do. And at that moment, we had WhatsApp, which was launched, I think 2015 or 16.
Correct.
So I started adding people who have got children for marriageable age. And very early in WhatsApp, I started. I might be the first one, maybe in our community, who started it.
Okay.
Now we have a lot of groups. So I just did that and people started contacting me. I felt very happy. First wedding, when it happened, I felt so elated. And now today I can say hundreds or maybe even several hundreds of weddings have happened through our WhatsApp groups and website. So at that time I started, and then we could add only 256 people in one group.
Yeah.
So I had some 12 groups and data was so much. That is when I said, let me start a website just to transfer this data. So we were not charging anybody for all that. I spent lakhs on making a website, but unfortunately, I didn't get good people to make it.
Yeah.
So today I feel very happy that my son Vaibhav Pai has taken this up and he is doing a very good job of it. He has made a better product of the website and he is using the latest tools to make it, putting all those filters in the website so that the end customer gets what exactly they want. So my passion for connecting people and my fear of missing out on the happiness of children made me closer to the community. So I became, community knows Jyotsna Pai as somebody they can go up to when they are not finding partners for their children. So I felt so loved each time someone would call and say, Jyotsna Pai, Magal Challa, Waldik Jaini. I said, don't worry, I'm here. I felt very happy about it.
Yeah. I think that's a nice way of giving back.
I was elated when all those things happened. Catering, what happened? See, we are into wholesaling. So we have 40 to 50 products which go in large quantities. So after doing 20-25 years of that, we got an authority how to produce things in large quantity.
Correct, yeah.
And at one point, we wanted to do something else other than bakery. See, we were investing in everything in one business.
Yeah.
So my husband and we felt we have to do something parallel, another business. So like somebody says, no, don't put all eggs in one basket.
Correct, yeah.
So we thought of one more business. And at that time, the most related was this. And my father-in-law is from the hotel industry.
Correct.
So we've grown up seeing that business.
Yeah.
We thought, let us have one more vertical. That again, has lot of bulk manufacturing.
Yeah, yeah.
We were already giving veg puffs and sandwiches in thousands to different institutions. So we had the knack for making things in big.
Correct.
This was an alternative. So that did well. So we have 2 halls now.
Oh, okay.
350 people capacity. 3 halls rather.
Yeah.
350 people capacity. We can go up till 700 people for wedding. In-house facility, latest halls we have.
Okay.
So that became another vertical.
Okay, nice.
So
all this is in Belgaum.
Everything.
Plus your bakery items, I found out that it's also in Amazon. Right?
Masala toast, that is
the
our
most famous
USP product, which people love. It is made out of North Karnataka is famous for garlic chutney, Velluli chutney antiv now. So that is applied on the toast, and that is something which we did once upon a time around 30 years back, of those breads which were unsold. Today we make exclusive breads only for masala toast.
Okay.
And so that product is well known, and it is available on Amazon.
Okay.
So shortly we plan to bring some more cookies of ours on that.
Okay.
But otherwise bread and other items have got smaller shelf life. So we have covered Belgaum district, a radius of 100 kilometers from our workplace. We supply all our products. We have got around 15 vehicles.
Okay.
So which take all these products and distribute them.
Okay. I'll definitely be ordering them once the interview is done.
and give me your feedback on how good
sure.
it is.
So Jyotsna ma'am, now let's come to the other aspect of the business, the recognition part of it. You have received a lot of awards, the Women Entrepreneur Award and Women of Worth from TIE. So how has it helped you personally and professionally, Jyotsna ma'am?
Yeah, first of all, I think I'm thankful to all the organization who blessed our firm Pai Bakery with awards. Women of Worth we received from the state government. They were giving an award for a woman from every district.
Okay.
So I was representing Belgaum district. We received from then Industry Minister R.V. Deshpande, Honorable Sirji.
Yeah.
And then I got the TIE award from Chief Minister then Bommai Sirji. So these were awards I felt which were recognizing my unit more than me. Even today I feel that I am an icon for our company.
Yeah.
So it is a teamwork which is working behind me for their livelihood maybe, but now they are all motivated to bring our firm ahead. So I am just a representation of that. So each time we gave awards, as I've told, our work, our unit was getting recognized. As I told you, initially we got it at the city level.
Yeah.
And there it was covered in the papers, and we got a boost in our brand, and we felt very good. So people started saying that if it is covered in a paper like this, so it is something which is very good. We were already established, but that gave an additional boost to the brand image.
Yeah.
So next time we got it at the district level, we were at that time contemplating on going to different districts with our product. So the shopkeepers knew our product before we went to them. So that was a boost again.
Correct, yeah.
So in this way, I felt it was a blessing for the brand. And again, for an individual also, as I told you, I felt that my story would be a motivation for many more women who are on the brink of, getting into entrepreneurship.
Correct, yeah.
So they felt that if Jyotsna Pai could do it, they could easily do it. So it was a win-win in many ways. So initially, I was not very much for awards, but today I feel it is necessary.
Yeah,
that recognition for a brand, recognition for an individual helps the society also in many ways.
Correct. And I hope that, after watching this, there are many more who get inspired to get into entrepreneurship.
That is the main intention that I have come here.
Yeah.
Because I've seen many women on the brink, of entrepreneurship, but they stop themselves because they have all these questions in their mind.
Correct.
And then they miss the bus.
Yeah.
So my intention of this podcast was mainly to help the women community to think stronger. Of course, now they don't need to listen to me. There is self-motivation also.
Yeah.
But I felt I may be contributing slightly to this.
Yeah, of course. I think there will be women who have self-doubt. And, then they can, when they listen to such conversations, I'm sure it's going to inspire them to start.
I would be very glad about that.
Yeah. Now, we'll move away from what we have spoken until now. You've also been a part of a lot of social initiatives.
Yeah.
So, what was there something which started, or were you always a part? You've been a part of social
No,
initiatives.
that feeling of doing something for community was always strong there, and this, I think, came mainly from my upbringing. My father, who has also been a president of, as I told you, JSB Charitable Trust, he always had this thought of doing something for society, and I would see him doing it from childhood. He was an idol in such activities. So at one point when business was stabilizing, I saw that in our area there was a government school which was not in a very great condition. I used to see children walking there without shoes, and at that time I felt God has given enough, so it's time I did something for them. And coincidentally, they invited me as a guest for one of their programs, and then I noticed they didn't have potable water and many other very basic things which are
Facilities,
needed. So I had a few friends. I wrote to them. They also pulled in, and we made an entire plumbing, water system, water tank, overhead, underground, and wash basin, and it was so gratifying.
Yeah.
When I went back and saw all the children enjoying that, it was so gratifying. And that is when I felt this has to be done in a better way. Then we realized that 2 classes were happening in one classroom. Teachers were teaching on both the sides, children were listening to both. There was no discipline in that. There was no learning happening.
Yeah.
And at that moment we were renovating our hotel. So I brought all the products and made partition.
Yeah.
Very small things I did, but I saw that it was making a big difference in somebody else's life.
Correct.
Then gradually I took up to making another classroom and then having different activity prizes there. So see, we have this feeling that government schools have to be funded by government. Why should we interfere? But believe me, that system, the schemes won't seep in till that school which is in our vicinity. If we do a small thing which makes a difference, we need not wait for the government to be doing it.
Correct,
So that way I got involved in different schools. As I told you, the deaf and dumb school had some issues.
Correct.
It's a residential girls' school. There were a lot of small security openings happening there. I approached my industry group. There was some CSR funding, transferred them, put in mine. So one thing led to another. Somebody else approached me. I have a feeling that somebody approaches to my door, I should give it the fullest because God has sent somebody to my door. So with that intention, it kept happening. So it's wrong if I say I did it. I felt that one went to another, something else happened. So then I realized that every month I have to keep something aside for my earning for this.
Yeah.
So that is what is ideal, in spiritualism.
Yeah.
So that made me continue to do this. So even today, somebody is already waiting to take that part. Somebody needs some medical help, or that school is still there. Now I plan to take moral classes to different schools because I'm seeing that what we learnt, that Punya Koti, Kate,
moral science,
Panchatantra,
correct,
all those stories, Jataka tales, all those are missing from the lives of the children these days.
Yeah.
So I want to, maybe the grandmother in me is wakening up or what, I don't know. And so now I want to go to government schools and tell these stories.
Yeah.
So that children have something to relate to. The moral is still intact.
Correct. I think that's really a nice thought, Jyotsna ma'am.
I have to start working in that direction.
Thank you, Jyotsna ma'am. It's been a wonderful conversation. I have a lot of takeaways from this, and I'm surely going to implement some of them in my journey as well. So thank you. It was a pleasure listening to you.
Yeah, thank you, Sneha, too, for inviting me here. And coincidentally, it all happened, one behind the other. And wishing that this podcast, makes more people share their experiences and benefits more people listening to it. Let more and more women, women when they talk to each other only learn things. Correct. I've always seen that. So this is that, olden days they used to sit and, near the well and discuss. So this podcast and such things have become the new versions of discussion. So praying that more women get benefited from this and that your program is a grand success.
Thank you so much, Jyotsna.
Thank you.